I meant to ask you first the idea. You wrote, I think, this story, and then you shot it.
Yes.
So tell me more about how it emerged in your mind, and what happened next.
Well, to be honest, it came out of personal experience to a certain extent, because when I was growing up, my dad was working in a different city, and I was living with my mother and my sister in another city. So that was our family arrangement. And it was very interesting because I was between two cities, and we were seeing our dad in specific periods of time. And I wanted to imagine, this relationship from the point of view of the father, and less so of the child in this screenplay, and see how the father might be very anxious that he's losing his relationship with his son, that he's not there to provide and build a relationship with him. So I try to imagine, all the anxieties that a parent might have because of the distance that he has. So that was where the initial idea for this movie came from.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In fact, it is true that many parents, when they have to live away from family, do feel very guilty, and then you tackle this guilt, the father's guilt towards his son, who seemed to be upset at him also, and it's probably a natural reaction that kids don't really mean to I suppose to pass on this message to the parents, but it shows, and the father is gets worried about this, and then you found this situation, this very special ice cream that will create the crisis and hopefully also solve the problem between them.
Yeah. When I set out to write the screenplay, I wanted it to be, in a way, very straightforward. Like, as a screenplay, I wanted to have, the protagonist who has a very specific goal, and this goal is to get this very special ice cream because it's the one thing that he can get to make his son happy. At least that's what he thinks. It's not necessarily the truth. So yeah, it's a bit, I suppose, it's similar also perhaps as a style to some silent era comedies, when you have this sort of very physical comedy as well in the mix. And I thought that was very interesting, the odyssey or the adventure that he has to go through simply for a silly cup of ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Does this brand exist, or you made it up? You
no, we made it up. We made it up.
Okay. well, he did have to go through hell to get his boy the ice cream, and then at the end, well, I'm not gonna spoil the film, but it's very revealing how all he had to go through really showed us his resolve, but also it puts him in as a comedy character, because as you say, especially in silent films, physical comedy most of the time is not allowing not allowing the protagonist to get what he wants. So whenever he thinks he will get what he wants, something will happen, and somebody or something will prevent him from getting that to that point where he wants to be. And it's very interesting because it is escalating also. It is he gets a lot of bumps from all these events, and so that makes it really funny for us to watch.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I think
it's the proper of comedy. We see the hero suffer, or the protagonist suffer, and it makes us laugh. But at the same time, we do feel for him, and we do understand the truth behind all that. Is that the truth is that he really can't live without making sure that he's done everything possible to have a good relation with his son.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of revealing that he has this catchphrase that he repeats: all good, that everything is fine, everything is good, don't worry, it's all good. And this adventure forces him to acknowledge that sometimes, things are not always that good, and they're not always great and fantastic, and that's perfectly okay. And I think that's the key to his relationship with his son at the end. And all these obstacles that you mentioned, it's like a slap in the face every time that he says that all is good, all is good. I'll make it work. I'll make it work. And every time something happens and prevents it.
Yeah. And then it finishes on a very nice note, because the son also expresses his true feelings, and maybe because he saw his father suffer so much, and that's nice when you have this kind of feedback. So we finish on a very happy and highly emotional note. Yeah, very, very nice film. Let me ask you: is this your first film, or have you done other films before?
This is my second film as a writer-director. The first one was called Egg Disease, and it was a very different genre. It was a horror drama.
Okay.
So I wanted to switch it completely with my second film and do something completely different.
Okay.
And go into comedy.
As a matter of fact, why did you choose, after doing one first project in a different genre, why did you choose to go to comedy? What does the comedy allow you? Why this choice? I mean, is it just a spontaneous choice, or did you think about it and decide to choose this genre and apply all your knowledge to writing in this genre, etc.?
I think what is very interesting for both comedy and horror, as they're very similar in a way, because every film is a dramatic story, as they say. There's a protagonist, there are certain obstacles, but with horror and comedy specifically, you have an extra job, an extra challenge. You do not only tell a story, but you want to elicit a certain reaction from the audience. You want to make them afraid, or you want to make them laugh. And this is an extra challenge that I think is very interesting. Can you tell a very concise, a very good story, but at the same time be funny and make your audience, if I was successful at that. But I enjoy
projects you have other plans in terms of filmmaking, and what are you?
Well, I'm actually preparing another horror film, a kind of like post-apocalyptic film that I hope to be able to shoot in this fall, this coming November. And I'm also trying to prepare a feature film as well, which is kind of like a revenge story. So I'm trying to go into different genres every time and explore different things. I think
will you now that you've mastered, I would say, the comedy techniques and genre, would you use comedy in your other films, or
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if I mastered it. I don't think I did. You're very kind.
At least you moving toward that direction. I mean, you're conscious that it is a very nice tool also to tell stories and to elicit different kind of reactions from the public. So yeah, it's today it's very common to see horror films with the comedy components that lights up a little bit the atmosphere, the tension that we may have in those films need to be at point in certain points needs to come down.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's very important to know, even if you're not making a straightforward comedy all the time, to know which tools you can use as a screenwriter and the director to change the mood, as you say, in a film, and have some lighter moments, so the more dramatic ones seem more intense as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, let me ask you, what would you say as a director, what would you say the choices that you made to make sure that the genre, the comedy genre is respected, is understood, did you make some specific choices so that you put this film in the genre of the comedy genre?
I think as a director, the most important decision that I made in collaboration with the cinematographer as well is to kind of keep a distance with from the character, and I think this is very important. There is a scene where he is carrying a bike on his shoulder and he's running to make it in time. And for example, we see him from a wide shot, a long shot. If we were with him, like if the camera was right in front of him or behind his back, I think that would be a very dramatic moment, because we would be with him, he's all injured and everything. But when you position the camera in a certain distance from the camera, I think it suddenly becomes more funny because it allows a certain distance with the audience. I think that distance was the major choice we made from a director's point of view. But we also didn't want the character to be like caricature. So we didn't want the actor to play funny, and I think he did that very, very well. He had to, he was just a struggling father, but because of the way that we observed him, I think became a bit more funny than it would be.
Yes, exactly. In fact, it was funny and touching because, as a matter of fact, he was able to play the role as just a struggling father. I mean, he was not trying to make anybody laugh, but he was trying to get his ice cream to his son, and really ready to do anything for that. And that's that's interesting, that, as you say, how you put the distance with because it is really, as a matter of fact, it does make a difference when the character is a bit far. Then we tend to separate a little bit from him and allow us to laugh at a few things, and also the music. I noticed the music is also a choice made to maybe elicit lighter atmosphere and funny atmosphere.
It has this a little bit of a spaghetti western feel, I think, with that guitar and that sound. Yes.
Yeah. Did you have an original musician, original piece for the?
Yeah. It's an original score written by the composer Grigory Eleftheriou. Yeah.
Ah, well, that's great. It turned out very nice, very nice. Well, what is the state of cinema in Greece? We hear so little about movies from Greece, and we used to know a few actors, but they were international actors that we would see in big Hollywood films. But we here in Morocco, we don't follow that much.
Okay. I think.
we're more into Turkish series, you know, because
Okay, I see.
they're next to you, but somehow they're very popular in Morocco. But Greek films, no.
Not so much. I think the Greek cinema has done very well recently in some major European festivals in the art house circuit. So I think we do make quite a few art house dramas that do well in film festivals. I'm not sure we make as many genre films like comedy, you know, and or horror or sci-fi or genres like that. And I think it would be interesting to see you know, filmmakers in Greece touching, you know, and playing around with those genres. But I think Greek cinema is doing quite well in certain festivals, especially in Europe. Yeah.
Well, you give us the drive to maybe try and look for other films from Greece. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
Thank you.
the opportunity, and the best luck to your film in our festivals, and to you in your career, your films, your endeavors. And if you ever go back to comedy to make another comedy, please. Thank you again, and
Certainly. Thank you very much.